Hello there everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race and Strategy Guide. And after a little brief week off, we are back with a combination of Group 4 machinery at Kyoto Driving Park Yamagiwa. I know it says Group 1 on that picture there, I'll change that for the actual thumbnail of the video. But we've got 11 laps to get round, we've got tyre wear at times 4, fuel at times 1, we've got the racing medium tyres, there is a mandatory pit stop in this one, BOP is on, damage is late, it's a rolling start, slipstream is real, and for your settings you've just got the brake balance. There's no suspension or limited slip differential settings in this one. Probably a good move. I think the nature of this circuit would probably make setups more influential, so not having the setups for this one is probably the right move in my opinion. It's not the first time we've done this combination, although I think maybe last time it might have been the reverse track now that I mention it. Either way, it's been a wee while since we've visited this track in Daily Race C. So jumping into the race action, the 8 o'clock race as always, a lot of the usual suspects from the TCR team are there. We've got Max Power in there as well, a couple of fast drivers like Danny and Sebastian Lober there as well. So pretty high quality field, as it usually is for this first race of the week. And we are in the Ferrari 458 Italia. Now, I chose this car for a particular reason, not maybe the reason you might expect. I know this track is very much a killer of the tyres, particularly that front right, and the Ferrari is bad on tyres, so I thought if I'm going to test a particular strategy, then why not test it on a car that's not very good on tyres, and if this car can do it, then any car in Group 4, or certainly the vast majority of the cars, should be able to do it. So coming through, the S is there for the first time. We have a yellow flag out. Somebody has got that wrong. You do have to be careful of the curbs here. On certain corners it can upset the car in certain circumstances, but coming through the fast left hand there for the first time, we get Tijjani just in front of us, Max Power just in front of him, and come down into the downhill braking zone. Tijjani was on the brakes a little bit earlier there than I was expecting, but I was, well, when I say expecting, I was expecting it at the same time, because obviously it's the first lap, we're quite close together, so you should be prepared to brake a little bit early into these corners. But it caught me out to the extent that you can see we have dropped a little bit behind coming into the last sector here. So decent selection of cars on show as well. I think I've seen Aston Martins, we've got McLarens, we've got a Lamborghini up at the front. And then coming through this chicane here for the first time as well. Lots of interesting corners at this circuit, I would say. I actually quite like this track. I think there's some nice sequences of corners. But you can see here they're going to go 3 wide into the last corner here. There's 4 cars in front of me, and I make the decision I am going to pit at the end of this lap, not change the tyres, and see if we can get a little bit of a undercut. Now we're going to come into the pits here, as you're going to see. Don't change the tyres, we don't have to take fuel on. I will discuss the pit stop numbers in due course. Now I did know that the time to change the tyres here was very low, and it is traditionally quite a quick pit stop. I had done no practice whatsoever, and I didn't really think, you know, the tyre wear over that first lap maybe was going to be as much of a problem as it's going to turn out to be. I kind of looked at that first lap there and thought, oh yeah, these tyres will do 11 laps. Not a problem at all. That might not be the case as you see this race unfold, but we actually ruined our race coming down into this braking zone here. Mario Sonic had just pitted behind us. I was kind of trying to keep him out of the slipstream, and we just broke about 3 car lengths too late into that corner. Very, very stupid mistake. It's the sort of mistake that I really beat myself up about. But yeah, we went off the track, and we only grazed the barrier and actually got some damage to the front left of the car as well. So maybe those barriers are quite sensitive to the damage at the minute. But that cost me about 5-6 seconds, which when we're trying to be fast at that point, as you know, we're trying to get like an undercut of sorts. Certainly not ideal. So we caught back up to Mario Sonic here in the Supra. He seemed to be struggling with this race as well. Having a few moments. He's had a moment through the chicane that we had as well, then having another moment through the chicane towards the end of the lap. So we're going to go try and down the outside of Mario Sonic here. Mario always fights you pretty hard, but fair. But you know, I'm thinking I've already lost enough time here, Mario. I could do without losing this time as well. We're going to get the slipstream down into turn 1. Look, a change of gear there on the Supra. I noticed that on the Group 3 Supra as well. It has a little bit of a lag on its gear changes, which is unusual for a modern racing car in the game, but we managed to get down the inside there and make a nice little overtake. Mario pitted at the end of lap 2, presuming he never changed the tyres in that Supra. I would imagine is certainly eating those front tyres pretty hard by this point in the race, because I'm taking a look at my tyres, and by this point I'm thinking, okay, this isn't looking as promising as I thought it might. And so we persevered on to lap 7. You can see that tyre wear just kicking in. Once you start pushing the car around this track, you put so much pressure on that front right tyre, it disintegrates pretty fast. So I thought I've not really got much to gain here. I'm not going to catch the guys in front. I might as well get into the pits and see what sort of lap times we can put in. And it gives us a nice comparison of the tyre change versus the non-tyre change. So I never mentioned it at the time, but we were only stationary for, I think it was 1.6 seconds, or is it 2 seconds we were stationary for when we didn't change the tyres. Either way, yeah, so it was 2 seconds stationary time not changing the tyres, 3.2 seconds stationary time if you do change the tyres. The tyre change takes 1.2 seconds, and given the tyre wear that we experienced there on a car not particularly good on tyres, I would still think you're going to be wanting to change the tyres no matter what car you're in. At a cost of 1.2 seconds, and once the kind of tyres kind of start to get below that 50% mark on a track like this with all the pressure on that front right through those high speed corners, you'll easily gain that time back. So 16.3 seconds is your pit loss overall, so pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. Changing the tyres, 15.1 if you get very brave or an absolute tyre whisperer, or you're maybe in a particular car like the Alpha 4C and don't change the tyres. But we catch back up to Mario Sonic, who is in big trouble with his tyres by this point. You can just see the difference in grip coming through turn 1, and we bring the car home in the 2-stop strategy down in P13. The finishing time for the race winner, 19 minutes, so the fast guys are going to get that down to about what, 18:40, 18:35, so maybe an additional lap in there might have been quite good as well. 12 laps would definitely have been feasible to take it to the 20-minute mark. But yeah, not a good race for me, but it definitely gave us a chance. It definitely gave me all the information that I needed to discuss these strategy options. So your tyre change strategy, if you're changing the tyres, you can pit laps 4 to 6. You possibly could just pit on lap 3. Obviously, coming out the pits, the tyres are a lot cooler, the tyres will last a lot longer on that second stint, so possibly lap 3 would be possible. You would be kind of at a tyre disadvantage maybe compared to people changing tyres on lap 6 at the end of the race, but yeah, that's your kind of pit window. It's going to cost you 1.2 seconds to change the tyres. I highly recommend you do change the tyres, because you'll have a big grip advantage at the race end over people who don't change, and I don't think there's going to be too many people not changing the tyres by the end of the first day. But the no tyre change strategy is an option, because it gives you the flexibility to pit at the end of lap 1 or go all the way to the end of the race. You'll save 1.2 seconds, you'll have dead tyres by the end, I think, regardless of what car you're in, but there will be a few cars out there that can maybe make this strategy work. The sort of strategy that maybe a faster driver at the back of the grid can use to jump slower drivers and then just hang on towards the end. It's definitely feasible, but I think for most people I'm recommending the tyre change strategy in this one. At a cost of 1.2 seconds, I don't see any real reason for people not to do it. But yeah, I think it's a fairly fun little combination. I've barely raced over about the last 10 days. I really enjoyed the race that I did this morning, so I'm looking forward to doing some more, do a couple of live streams. But I appreciate you watching to the end, folks. Hopefully the video's been useful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.